all for coming. Can everybody hear me at this point? We're good? Okay, with that, I'm going to hand it over to Mayor Dietrich.
Thanks, Meg. Okay, being at 7:30, we have to do this officially since we have a quorum, so we have to have an actual kind of a meeting here. So I'll call the town hall meeting to order. And then I'll ask an approval of the agenda. I don't know if you got it added up there. We're going to add one thing on here that, like between 5 and 6, Tyler Tiggison's here from the EMA, and he's going to have an update of what's going on as of about a couple hours ago. I've got it number 6, okay. So I need to have an approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as corrected. Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Okay, now I guess we're going to introduce, I don't know if everybody knows who we all are. I'm Mike Hedrick, I'm the mayor. I've been mayor here for 8 years. Been on the council for way too long. But anyhow, I'll pass it to my right.
Nathan Whaler, council. I honestly can't remember how long, maybe 4 or 5 years now.
Clark Burkowski, Exira council member. Austin Christensen, City of Brayton Public Works.
Callie Christensen, Brayton Mayor.
Meg Anderson, Exira City Clerk.
Kent Grable, county supervisor.
Tyler Tiggisson, Emergency Management 911 Coordinator.
Heath Hansen, also county supervisor, and the quorum rule that he was talking about is why Kent's over there and I'm over here.
It's not their official meeting. We will be joined later by Jotham Arbor of Ottoman County Public Health, and potentially Don Mazinski, an additional Ottoman County supervisor. At this time, I just want to scroll down here and... Oh, gosh, we missed that one. Sorry. Jeez.
Garrett Wilson, city council, Brayton.
I'm Dwight Jesson, City Council of Exira.
Dory Schrader, council.
Mark Paulson, Exira City Council.
Sorry, guys. All right, just so that we can keep this meeting running smoothly, we did develop a code of conduct for this meeting. And I just want to quickly review these. We ask that everybody uses respectful behavior tonight. Everybody, we will not have disruptive behavior, personal attacks, and offensive language. Please do not interrupt any of the speakers or officials. Please stay on topic. We are here to discuss the Regional Water Rural Water Association situation that is ongoing. And then we will host a time for public comment. At that point, we're going to have you line up along the east side wall, and we'll come up one at a time. Everybody will get 3 minutes to speak, and then any of our officials will have a chance to respond to all of those comments. So that's kind of how we'll go forward. And with that, I want to give a little bit of background and education to everybody here so that we're all on the same page. Back pre-2005, the city of Brayton hooked up to regional water, and then Exira owned their own well fields west of Highway 71, and we had our own water treatment plant off of Kilworth Street here in town. Excuse me, I'm going to try and slow down. That at the time became cost prohibitive, and the upgrades were costly, and there was no grant funding available at that time to upgrade or fix the existing water treatment plant. Regional Water then proposed an extension of the Avoca treatment plant, which did have funding through Community Development Block Grant funds, and USDA already applied. On April 21st of 2005, the council voted to enter a 40-year contract with Regional Water. 40 years. The well field and the treatment plant properties were then sold to private property owners. In 2018, there was an updated water purchase agreement that was signed with Regional Water. And then in 2021, there were overage charges, which the council and Exira fought to no avail, unfortunately. 2022, Tom Cowan became the new general manager of Regional Water. That takes us to 2023, which is where a lot of the current issues began, I guess you could say. On May 12th of 2023, They started a tiered color system of their emergency conservation plan, and that was first issued as a level white. May 25th, we were placed into a boil advisory, which lasted until June 2nd. Then in June, the City of Exira representatives attended a board meeting to express our concerns regarding water supply issues, unfair and unsustainable rate increases, the bulk water pricing structure, lack of emergency planning and preparedness, lack of infrastructure management, and inadequate management on their system. In July of 24, they came back and wanted to remind everybody we are on mandatory construction under level yellow. The council during August meeting in 2023 was discussing regional water. Again, more conservation reminders to come. At the end of 2023, Tom Cowan attended the meeting to inform us that they had a plan to hook to the Council Bluffs pipeline out of Council Bluffs waterwork, and also that rates would be going up substantially again. 2024, while we were downgraded very briefly, we went right back to mandatory conservation, and both representatives from the City of Exira and Brayton attended the Board of Supervisors meeting during our county municipality meetings. In March, we then attended the Rural Water Board meeting again. We continued along the mandatory consumption or conservation and consumption recommendations, along with multiple times where it was discussed at council meetings. In December of 2024, we had a heated council meeting with Tom Cowan present in Exira. Members of Brayton and Exira were both present. At that point, a even more substantial rate increase was passed on to us, and I believe that conversation went well into an hour that night, just on water alone. So it was a long one. We also then took, at the end of 2024, when state representatives attended the Audubon County Board of Supervisors meeting, we addressed and raised concern about our water supply to them at that time. So this has gone as far as the state level as early as 2024. That brings us to this year. The City Council in Exira has been talking about what can we do if this is our water supply and it's not working. So we've done that on numerous occasions. Most recently, April 21st, we approved the application for the USDA search grant application, which is a public engineering funding grant that would allow us to evaluate what other options there are within our water treatment, whether that be hooking up to an existing water system, whether that be creating our own water system, whether that be sticking with regional water. We'll find out. We are awaiting the grant award from that, so that's where we're at. Brings us to May, and May 8th was the first communication. We got a late night email from Tom Cowan at 8:30 after all of your city employees and council members are out of the office and go home for the day. But they decided to communicate such activities, kind of on their updates, which did include for the first time some updates on what they have been doing on the regional water side. Those things do include emergency pump request, DNR assistance to flood their well field from the western Shabana, which runs adjacent to their well field, and then updates on the pipeline project. Unfortunately, as we know, Saturday came, and we were in trouble. So Saturday, they did lose pressure across the entire Avoca treatment plant system, which is everything that serves Exira, Brayton, and rural Audubon County. We were placed into a boil advisory at 3 o'clock. Unfortunately, the communication from regional water was once again less than adequate, and I received that information from Tyler Tiggison. So we have expressed our concerns with this. On Sunday, we get no updates, but did receive word that there were rolling outages, meaning the whole system wasn't out of water, but there were people reporting that they did not have water. Monday morning, the EMA Association, the Emergency Management Association agencies from all 5 counties, I believe, Tyler, correct me on that one, I'm wrong, had a meeting, and then a municipality meeting followed up with that to review the situation. May 13th, both Callie and I spoke during public comment because we were last minute agendas we didn't quite have time to get onto the Audubon County Board of Supervisors agenda in time, but we did request assistance from the county supervisors to kind of show up and support us here. So that was greatly appreciated, well received. And then this morning, we had another Teams meeting update with the EMAs and critical partners. And just this afternoon, if you haven't seen it, Rural Water has officially declared level red, which is a water rationing measure, and it is the highest level of their emergency conservation plan. With that, I am going to give Tyler a moment to give us a situational update as to where we're at.
So as Meg said, the communication, I'd like to just talk about it. So the communication thing has been a big topic in our emergency management meetings with Rural Water. Myself, Harrison County, Shelby County, and Potawatomi County. We've emphasized the communication piece. Today was very well received. We will have now 2 updates with them daily. We'll be able to communicate that out to the public. One in the morning to get the night review, and one in the afternoon for the daily log from them. So we'll communicate that with our partners, push it out to the public. Kind of as Meg said, that's been a rough piece. But I think we've made it very clear to them that they have to communicate to their constituents. So, a couple things. So I guess we have a meeting every other day with them in the mornings, and then we have all of our partners. Those partners are everyone you see here, the elected officials. I think I just have the mayors tied into that. The city clerks have also, council members are able to go in at their leisure if they're able to watch. Board of Supervisors, Care Center is another one, school system. I'm trying to think of our other partners here. Public health, and I'm missing one. Sheriff's office is involved in that also. So that's been very effective to get communication back and forth. Today is probably the best day we've had on that piece, but unfortunately we've got a few things that were placed in front of us late this afternoon. But I'm going to start with kind of a safety. It's a briefing that we give out, and then we end up doing a flash report because that's a pertinent message that we need to get out to our elected officials and partners here. So under these, there's about 5 categories. So the first one is safety and security. So today, if you have not noticed, Audubon County has been placed in a burn ban. That is a life and safety mechanism that we put in place because of the water shortage. We are also joining forces with Shelby County and Potawatomi County. Those 2. Pot County is a little different because they've got a little more square miles. They're doing it by fire department districts. We felt in Shelby and Audubon that our fire departments work very well together, but we don't have the extra mechanisms of water leaving with just one city for that. So we felt the need for that. So that is how that's going to work. Our fire chiefs have all been on board. We've had a couple meetings about this over the last couple days also. Next one is food and hydration and sheltering. We do have a stockpile of emergency water that will arrive tomorrow. I worked through that with our state partners, Department of Homeland Security with the state of Iowa. And they work with our private sectors, Hy-Vee, Fairway, all of those folks. So they have, we'll be getting emergency water tomorrow. That water, I know for some this may be frustrating, but that will be for people who are out of water. If you still have water and have the option to boil, that's the means we want you to take. Obviously, I've also, Jotham and I with public health, we've discussed this and the elected officials, but if there are people with special needs or whatever the situation may be, we will take those extra things into consideration. So we're going to stockpile that, and we have pretty much a 3-day supply that's averaged out. There's a FEMA calculator that basically formulates that. You put in your populations and different things of that nature. So that will arrive tomorrow. We will have that on hand. I do have some water on hand within the county because we have another situation in Kimballton. I've been able to rob some of that to keep our school not really rob it, but borrow, get it for what we need, right, to make it work. Sometimes I'm not politically correct, for those of you that don't know me. But we work really good with the city of Kimballton and our school district here with Exira. And we've been able to get water in for them so they can keep things going for their school and keep the kids well hydrated. So, health and medical, Jonathan maybe want to speak on this a little more, but I have in our memo here, our county health services can help with pretty well testing. I realize most of you are from city limits, but if there are some of you that are in the rural area, have a well that's on your property that maybe you turned off or kind of haven't used it for a while and you need that check, they can provide services for well testing for free. So if that's something you want to look at, I've got the information. It's all online also. And then in this, we have about 1,330 citizens within this affected area between Exira and then our rural area. Communication, I have this meeting listed in that. Daily communications are being done through my office, with county partners, city partners, and regional EMA folks, and our regional water team. So the last piece I have in here is water system. And this is where things change really fast today. So we've had, currently, our latest status is Brayton has no water outages reported. We have had reports of the city of Exira that their tower is half full and they are not able to take on water from regional water system. We've estimated this, I've gotten with Tim and Mike, both with Public Works here in the city of Exira, is roughly 36 to 48 hours that is available still in the water tower. Under normal consumption that they've averaged on the last couple of days under that piece. While I'm on this subject, I want to note, in this morning's meeting with our EMA partners and regional, some of the other emergency management folks were very concerned about their communities not doing their part. And regional water staff kind of expressed their concerns, and I chimed in and I said, put the brakes on, because Tim, Meg, and Mike, and the council and mayor have all showed numbers that what this community's done. So kudos to you people for helping. We're not that fortunate in other communities, and I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying that the leadership here and the citizens have done an excellent job of that part. So I definitely want to give credit where it's due. So that covers the Exira, our rural area. We have had residents report outages to regional water. I have not had any to my office or to our dispatch center. That's kind of a tough challenge. I have noticed and heard of some people taking care of themselves, which that's kind of what most of us do. They've moved campers from their rural residence into a campground. Some in Littlefield, some at out at the Little Park in Ogden, just to make do and get by. Others are just making it work. I will say I do have some other plans in place, working on places for if those rural residents, and even for here, if things come down to it, we're working on some locations designated for showering facilities. I did contact the Red Cross. They don't have anything, but they have some other partners, so we do. I've got that. That's on tomorrow's task, is to narrow down the rest of those partners, and we're working together with the other counties to work on that piece and share those services. So, as far as actions, like I said, this afternoon's been sharing that release on the level red, shipping of water I talked about tomorrow. We're also working on some list of maybe some short-term volunteers to help man some of these water stations if we do go into a water outage. So the last piece I have of this is kind of complex, but I'll explain it the best I can. And I do have a photo if that helps. I think Meg's got that on her computer. So this is kind of a system short map. That's fine. I can talk through it. So This was an official thing of the emergency management statement that the emergency management got today. I recapped some of it, but the important part is towers 1, 5, and 6, which are not in our area, just repressurized within the last 45 minutes, and this was at 4:30. Towers 2, 4, and 7. 7 is the important one, that is ours, not ours, but one that feeds our area. That's the one that sits west of Hanlon on the hill, between Hanlon and Kimballton. And that one, at that time, was registered at 0. So that does give water in the system, but you're gonna see those people that are in higher areas, in our rural area, they're gonna be the ones that first lose pressure. And this is not the first time that that's happened. They've dealt with this intermittently, it's been very sporadic. But again, everyone's kind of taking care of themselves. I haven't taken any drastic phone calls or panic modes yet, so that's reassuring. People do know, we did take, I believe it was 2 911 calls on Saturday or Sunday, I'd have to look back, but, just kind of minor, because they didn't know who else to call and make sure that someone was aware of it. So we are pushing all of those phone calls to regional water, because in the end result, it is their system, it is their problem. There's an underlying of that. If we as local officials, myself, very deep in the woods of that, it's now become our problem. So I'm not saying it's not my problem. I'm not saying I'm not doing it about it when I make the statement that it's regional water. But at the end of the day, it's their issue and it's their thing to properly fix. And we as emergency management folks and elected officials have made that very clear to them. So just a couple of other updates. It could be worse. Part of Avoca right now is without water. That was also in this piece, and that does affect their some of the critical infrastructure, such as their nursing facility. Now, nice part about nursing facilities, we did get into the plans there. They have to have emergency water, depending on the bed amount of space. They have to have XYZ of gallons of emergency water. So those bases are covered. Basically, they're saying we can get by a little bit on some of the outages, they'll get the system reduced. So that is today's effect. Meg also spoke of a pump. We found out today in our morning briefing with them that we have secured, I say we again, the emergency management folks have helped regional water secure that pump through emergency state homeland security. And those folks have worked very hard. The Rural Water Association, which is for the state of Iowa, they have a pump and that is secure. It will work. The delivery expected on that is Wednesday, 1 week from today. They have the line is done for amended. The council officer, I haven't seen it, I'm not exactly for sure where it lays. But that line that's supposed to give us a fix is completed, for the exception of the disinfection part. So they said it was gonna be roughly 2 weeks. We've asked for a very hard timeline on that. We've not received that yet. We gave them until, again, meaning the emergency management folks, in our meeting this morning, gave them a hard deadline of Friday. Friday morning when we meet at 9 o'clock, we expect answers from them. And I'm hopeful that we will get them. The things that we've really been concerned about, we've received. So that is encouraging. I know for most of you it's very frustrating. I would, along with all of you, we would rather be somewhere else this evening. But I'm gonna say we are doing our very, very best to make sure things are addressed and taken care of. I guess, unless anyone has any, well, we'll wait for questions. Is that correct, Meg?
That would be our next.
Okay, so that is all I have.
So at this time, we will welcome a Q&A and public comments section. If you would like to come up and speak, please line up along the east wall. We'll hand you the microphone here and allow you 3 minutes to speak. I will keep a timer for everybody's record. And then, oh, Jotham, did you want to give an update? I'm going to change the plans. We're going to give Jotham Barber with Public and Environmental Health just a quick update.
So I'm Jotham, and so The Environmental Health Office right now is gearing itself towards emergency planning for any sort of health issues that we might have due to the lack of water. Vulnerable populations include those that are receiving home care, those that are homebound, and anybody that would fit the qualifications for immunocompromised and those kind of things. So our office is providing free testing, like our EMA said. Excuse me. And so if you need those services, we have all 4 of our guys in Audubon, and we'll be in Audubon for the next couple of weeks doing those. What that looks like is if you do have a well, we'll come out, we'll test that water. That's all being prioritized at the State Hygienic Lab. So instead of that week turnaround, we're getting 2 days. So we're able to come and test that. We'll help you out with repressurizing. We'll help you out with the process to get the water going if you have a rural water source. If you have a family member that is vulnerable, that is not receiving home care from either the health department or any of our CANs or any of those nursing services, and you feel like they would qualify as a vulnerable population and need additional services, I'd encourage you to call the public health office so that we can get in touch with them, so we can make sure that we get water out to them, and then our nurses and our staff are available to meet with them as well. That's in town, that's out of town, wherever that might be. And if you go to our website, healthyaudubon.org, you'll find the numbers there. You can call the main line. We also have nurses here who will probably staff our office a few more hours than we normally do. So right in town, right by the chiropractor's office, there where it used to be the old washing machine place. So we're in there. So I'll be there tomorrow and Friday. So if you do have questions or concerns, feel free to give our office a call. We'd be more than willing to talk with you. We are also securing additional water outside of what Tyler is, specifically for those vulnerable populations. So the Public Health Department has several pallets of water coming specifically so that the water that they get can go out to the general population, and we'll try and take care of anyone that's vulnerable. So thank you.
So again, at this point, we will open the floor for Q&A and public comment. Just a quick reminder for public comment, please just identify yourself so I can record it properly.
I just have a few questions to make sure that I run a daycare here in town, so I have a lot of vulnerable littles at my house. Can someone just reiterate to me what the level red is, and like if we do run out of water, like how are you supposed to flush your toilets? Is that what you're talking about for water? I mean, obviously at a daycare, I'm gonna have 16 littles running around. How do I toilet them? And how do I talk to my parents about that?
Anyone?
We're gonna let Tyler take us with you and they handle this one again.
So, I have the definitions of the red.
I don't know if this, they are on the Facebook. I have them on the emergency management account. Yes, they are there. The red level is there, and basically, for the most part, again, I'm going to emphasize that the city of Exira has pretty much been doing almost to that red level. As far as daycare scenarios, Jocelyn, I don't know if you've got some input on some of that side, but
I know like the kitchen at Casey's has shut down because they don't have a regular dishwasher. I mean, is it safe to wash our dishes in the water that hasn't been boiled? Is it okay to wash our hands? I mean, that's all, safety wise, okay.
yeah, I'm gonna let Jocelyn finish that
Okay.
answer.
Casey also does not have a stovetop to boil.
No, I know, but I'm just making sure, like at my house, if I wash a pan with unboiled water, is it okay?
Right. So if you're washing water and you're using dish soap, and there's some sort of detergent in that water,
Okay.
you're going to be just fine.
Okay.
What we would recommend is instead of washing your hands, and this is so contrary to what I believe as far as washing your hands go, but sanitizer is going to be your best friend here. We would recommend that to conserve the water that you use sanitizer. And if you need additional sanitizer, that is something that we can definitely provide. So we could probably bring you a few gallons of sanitizer if you'd like. But as far as cleaning clothes, washing your dishes, those type of things, just because it's not boiled doesn't make it unsafe for those things. We just don't want you drinking it. The risk there is potential things like bacteria. In the care center, the thing that we worry about is Legionnaire's disease, and so we want to make sure that they're not consuming that. But that being said, the likelihood of getting that just from one-time use, if you accidentally drink a cup of water that wasn't boiled, it's very low. But we do recommend that you can use it for everything but drinking.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question about the contract with Regional Water. What would it take to break that contract? And two, how much would it cost to upgrade Exira's previous water filtration system or whatever?
You guys want to fill out? I have the answer if you want me to. So we are in exploratory roles with our city attorney and municipal advisor who serves both the cities of Brayton and Exira to look at what that would be to break that contract. There is a unique component that we, as part of our contract, pay part of the loan that provided the infrastructure to provide us the water, which amounts to about a $907 monthly charge. So that complicates things a little bit, but know that we are looking at the options of what we can do to potentially terminate the contract. The thing you have to remember right when we say that is Regional Water is the sole water provider for the city of Exira. So if I tell them we're terminating our contract, we no longer have any water. So we have to do this in a timely fashion and in a way that makes sense that we can ensure that everybody still has water, given they can provide it. And I'm going to let Mayor Mike handle the next part of this.
And as far as our old water system, it's no longer there. The treatment plant is completely gone. The well field has been sold, and the wells that are there, they haven't had any water pumped out of them in 20 years. So it would be major. I mean, we don't even know if we could ever get the pumps to pump again. You'd have to redo it. And besides that, we don't even own it anymore because we've sold that well field off. So it'd be starting over from scratch, and we're talking probably millions of dollars in order to do our own water system again. So.
Kind of finalize that comment there. That is what that USDA search grant and a professional engineering report will tell us. It will tell us how much does this cost and how could we do it and is it feasible. And so that is why those options have been discussed so many times at various council meetings and why we are moving forward on that one. So hopefully that answers that question as best we can. Did anybody else want to speak? Benny, you want me to come to you?
Thank you. I'd like to tell a story. Bear with me. I was at every meeting 20 years ago when Exira was trying to decide to hook up to rural water or do the water treatment plant. And trust me, you cannot trust anything or believe anything that Regional Water will tell you. I sat there and watched Regional Water talk about hooking up to rural water. And there was a survey done. Hook up to rural water or water treatment plant. The real Regional Water guy was sitting there talking about what he can provide to the city of Exira. And all of a sudden he said something that was a mistake. He said, when we did this survey, he went, so who did that survey? Rural Water. And they did it in their favor. So trust me, do not trust Regional Water. Anything they say, you can't believe. Oh, the other thing, the 21st century mafia is rural water because they got it. The other one's hated.
Thank you, Benny. All right. Could you guys remember to introduce yourselves when you speak, please?
Hello, I'm Jeff Fancher. I was just wondering if ultraviolet light would cure bacteria. If you had your own UV light put on the water, would that kill bugs?
Yeah, so we currently in septic systems and in water filtration systems, we do use UV light to kill bacteria.
So, can a person do that themselves?
Excuse me?
Can they use a UV light themselves? Like a bucket of water or something?
You could, you'd have to contain it the correct way and have the right wattage in your
Okay.
bulb to do it, but you can.
YouTube would show you how to do that, right?
What's that?
YouTube would show you how to filter water.
I'd rather say have environmental health sanitarians that could walk you through the process.
Okay.
Probably a better source than YouTube, but yeah, YouTube's
Okay, all right.
Mike?
I'm Mike Bednar. Just a quick deal. You talk about the pipeline is out to Council Bluffs and all the way here, correct, Tyler? And they're waiting for it to disinfect?
Correct.
We're already in that problem now. We're having to boil water. Why don't they hook it up, get the pump going, get the water coming? We can still boil, but at least we'll have water to bathe and flush our toilets. And I would pass that on to rural water because they created the problem, they oversold, and here we are having to pay the problem.
So that direct question and statement was made, but there's a difference in how part of the two systems that they're gonna tie together, how they treat, with chemicals, like the chlorination process, some of the bacteria process in that. So they have to have, there's a certain criteria that has to be met by the DNR, and so they're waiting, they've got to follow those steps, and some of that is public hearings that have to go on and happen. So, you're exactly right, Mike, we all at the table said the exact same words. We're already in this mess, what's a little more, right?
That's what I say, DNR, I dealt with them too long up where I was at in business, and they just need to close their eyes a little bit, let that water flow through, and we won't eliminate our problems. The city people won't have to worry about it. Meg, she's probably tired of picking up the telephone, and I don't blame her. It's not the city's problem, it's their problem over there. They had floods, and they never took care of their equipment and got it going back up like they're supposed to, and all they want is the money. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, Scott Thielen. All I can say is about the contract, I think it's already been broke by rural water. And I can't believe we live in a desert, we gotta pump water 75 miles to get it to us.
Anybody else? Am I missing anybody? Please stand if I am missing you. Oh, Joe. Sorry, I'm trying to walk quick. Back way.
Hi, I'm Joe Nelson, and I want to say thank you, Meg, and everybody that came together to put this meeting together. It's a crisis, no doubt, so thank you for opening up and listening. I did have a question regarding the hookup to Potawatomi County. Is this a stopgap measure, or is this like a long-term solution, and is it adequately sized? And if that's too much, I'm sorry.
So from the details we've been given, they have engineers on the DNR side and the rural water side. We've not gotten a direct answer that this is, yes, a 100% fix. Some of that, I think, Megan, the city can contest to that too, that that's part of that transparency piece that we may not have received yet. I would anticipate that that's probably one of the main questions that would be asked from the folks that are.
Correct, it is on the list for tomorrow's regional water board meeting because we have been told, yes, this is the answer, this pipeline is the answer, but then in the same breath, we were not given definitive assurances that it is. So it is on one of the questions that is going to the regional water board meeting tomorrow at 1 o'clock in Avoca. Were you done?
I would just recommend that they provide data to back that up, so they know the consumption in our district, and so they should be able to provide capacity data to show that yes, it's going to meet our current demand, and then any future demand that probably is already should be being planned in the future. So, thank you.
We will definitely take that with to the meeting tomorrow. Anybody else? Thank you.
My name is Matt. Is this new pipeline to Council Bluffs going to increase our rates again?
That should be a rural water question, but based on the information that we received from Tom Cowman, the city of Exira rates, yes, are anticipated to go up. Based on the rate structure that they did provide to us at the end of 2024, we were anticipating a minimum of an 8% increase every year for the next 10 years, which is why we're throwing our fight. That's why that meeting took an hour in December. We had quite the things to say, and I think this situation only amplifies that they're not providing the services that they're charging for us. That's a personal opinion, not a city opinion, but that's what we have on that, unfortunately.
So this will be me speaking personally. I can't speak as the county supervisors right now. Sorry I'm dressed ridiculously like this. I came straight from Baccalaureate. So we are going to the meeting tomorrow in Avoca. They actually sounded pretty mad when I called and asked to get on their agenda. I think they were hoping that they would have one less county calling them, because I know that Tyler's been on their backs, that your cities have been on them, and that the other counties have. Those of you who've said, at least my personal take on it is, they oversold, they underdeliver, and then they raise their prices. That's exactly what I'm bringing to them. That's exactly what I think they've done to you. They continue hiking their rates up, even after they're providing a worse and worse service every year, and that's not acceptable. So that's the message we're bringing from me. We're going to be speaking to them on the part of the county. We had our meeting on Tuesday, and we're going to have a meeting start next week, and we've had several conversations in between to see how the county can help Exira and Brayton and everybody in the rural areas, to see if there's any way what the county can help fund or help get moving, if there's anything we can get moving faster to get these problems solved. Unfortunately, it seems like everything's on rural water, regional water's plate, that they're the ones who could have solved this a while ago. Maybe you all saw the timeline that was presented. They've been addressed on this multiple times. They kept saying, well, don't worry, we're going to get it solved. Too little, too late. It's not gotten solved, and now we're all in this room pissed off. So right now, that's kind of our report on them. I've been communicating with the representatives at the state level, senator, and all those guys. They're also just as aware of this. I actually texted Meg during the middle of the night, said, hey, can you send me that timeline so I can send it on to them. I think everybody knows exactly where the problem is. The problem is regional water, and the fact that they continue to act like this is something that they couldn't have fixed long ago is probably the biggest issue that we face. We need them to be adults and own up to it.
I'm Judy Nelson. Just to kind of reiterate what he guys said, I'm thinking along, I can't offer and sell a dozen donuts and only give you 6. And Rural Water signed a contract, and not that you guys need anything more on their plate, but as the whole area affected by this, is there any legal recourse? Has anybody looked into that through the state on that? Because, like I said, I can't offer a product and only give you half of it. We have 3 facilities, and 2 of them use only 100 or less gallons a month. And so one of them is a shop, and so now we only use it for a toilet, because everything else that we use that facility for is off limits. And the one I looked it up in the last 10 months, I'm paying over $2 a gallon for water. For water, I mean, I could just well go buy it at Dollar General and dump it down my toilet tank, because we're paying more than that. And I'm not saying it's your fault, but we've been under this for 2 years. I've been trying to conserve for 2 years, but I keep paying you and them for it. And I just don't know legally, has anybody maybe looked into recourse? Because I don't understand selling a project, signing a contract, and you don't deliver for over 2 years now, and we're not seeing the end of it. We're dry, but we're not in a drought.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can't speak for the cities, but I do know that at the very least, once we get all these meetings done with rural water tomorrow and everything, we're at the very least going to be talking to the county attorney about what we can do from a county level of things to get things addressed. Most of it is going to probably be on the cities, unfortunately, but if the county can help in this, we need to. It's just ridiculous. Sorry.
I'm sure they received grants.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they did.
So to me, that's another violation. They receive those grants to provide, and they're not providing.
They took grants probably that are your tax dollars. They took your tax dollars in the form of grants and then they charged you more, yeah.
So as far as the city legalities, unfortunately, Clint Victor, who I said was our city attorney and municipal advisor, both of Exira and Brayton, is in another meeting. He was trying to get here. I don't see him yet. He is exploring the options. He has reviewed the contracts and he is looking at things for breach of contract as well as illegal charges on the system for failure to provide service. So that is something that we have been exploring. It has been discussed at multiple Exira City Council meetings since I've been here in 2023. I know it was discussed beforehand in 2021 with those overage charges that were charged. So that kind of gives you a little bit of an update on that. Anybody else?
I'm Tanner Powers. I was just curious if anybody's looked into as a stopgap measure of possibly trucking water in from other town in case this pump doesn't work out. And if we can backfill our own system, we're already on boil anyway. So if we could look to some other towns with treatment plants as possible with some semis to, even if it's 5,000 gallons at a time, truck it in so that we're not completely out of water.
So there are some facilities that have means to do that for us. It's a contract or an MOU thing. Part of that piece, obviously you can get buckets if you need to flush toilets, things of that nature, and build those needs, but we presented some of that to the rural water. Part of that's on them. I mean, that's as far as the cost. So just so, I can't remember if I elaborated on this, but the partners that we have, private sector partners with the state, the emergency management folks have, are your main people, Fairway, Ivy, Walmart, some of those things. Those people took a really big hit, and I'm not making excuses for them. They're in it to make money too, right? But they took a very large hit last year with all of the other disasters. So the state's very focused in on putting this back to the owner of this is your dilemma, and they are going to be discussing that they're meeting on Thursday, we were told today, about putting some of their budget for bottled water or things of the nature you just brought up, Tanner. So those things are in the works. I don't have an exact plan, but I know we have a couple of companies in the northern part of the county and probably some down here that I'm not aware of that I know would gladly step up. There's a I don't think they'd be able to put it into the systems, but there's a chain of things that the DNR have to look at and help us out.
The military doesn't.
Yeah, there just have to be systems in place to make sure that the pressurization was taken care of. I wouldn't think the bacteria and that kind of stuff we wouldn't be as worried about because you are boiling. It would be, we don't want to overpressurize the system and create line breaks that could ultimately cost more money to fix. So we want to make sure that if that's, and I think that is a fairly viable system, it's been done in other places, but we want to work with them to make sure that, and your water folks here too, so that we didn't destroy a system that bring too much water in all at one time.
I'm Kayla Nelson, and I was part of that city council meeting on December 4th. Regional Water did say that they would be willing to make a town hall meeting with us. Did we ask them to come, or did we not ask them to come?
So for tonight's meeting, we did not invite them. We knew the purpose of tonight was to inform the public of the situation that's currently ongoing and then also get the information that you wanted us to take to that regional water board meeting tomorrow. Your questions, your concerns, your demands, so that we can take those forward. We are looking into setting up a town hall, but I can tell you Tom Calvin is not making time for town halls this week. Probably not next week, probably not the next 2 weeks. He is very short to answer his phone and very quick to hang up right now. But that is something that, if that's something you want us to explore, I have no problem exploring that option so that you can talk directly to him. His board doesn't, last time I spoke, did not show an interest in participating in that. They just wanted to send Tom Howman, the general manager. Those of us who have experienced that in the past. Yeah, I think Nathan Wheeler just said he would ask to demand their board to show up to that town hall as well, which I think is a good idea. Anybody?
Where's this Mr. Calvin live? Does he have to live through all this water shortage?
I don't know. Anybody?
Almost right down the road from the well field. About a mile off of the well field down Travel Road.
So he's still getting plenty of it.
Since we've got so many, if you guys could line up and we'll try and keep the things going that way as we kind of try to intend, I would certainly appreciate it. It'd be a little easier to manage. Not that I don't mind running around, but.
Jeff Marshall here from Britain. So, both cities have done water projects. Are the mains and everything still owned by the city? So Exira owns their mains, still owns the water tower, the systems are owned by the city.
Yeah, we buy our bulk water.
Yeah, we just buy it from them and bring it in.
Not anything with our system.
Yeah, so is it sole private? I don't know how to say it. Can we only buy water from regional?
Yes.
That was in the contract, okay. That's why they won't allow us to put it in the city water tower. Because we'd be buying it from somebody else. It wouldn't be because of bacteria or anything like that. You're going outside of the contract.
Donated.
That's one to explore for sure. Joe, do you want to speak?
I just want to make a comment that the people that we're most upset with are the people we're dependent upon to help fix this. And so remember when we voice our frustration that now we need to fix it, and the frustration, what we do afterwards, will come with appropriate litigation, I'm sure.
Closing remarks. Any other Q&As? Anybody else? Want to make sure we don't miss anybody. This is your chance.
So just running the numbers, if you just started at $100, it's going to be 100% increase in 8 years.
Yes, that is what we told them. It is unsustainable.
Is there no way to just say, after the system's plugged in, like, can we just get a new contract? Like, just you want us to do another 8 years, fine, but there's no way in hell we're taking 8% every year. Because that's $100.
That is something on the agenda for tomorrow's meeting. Was currently the way the city of both City of Brayton and Exira, we are billed as what regional considers bulk water users. I have expressed numerous times through multiple years and frustrations that the City of Exira is not a bulk water user. I am not your power plant down the road making profit. I am not your hog farm who can pass it on for profit. I am a city who has to balance a water budget to zero, which means I have to cover our debt and also pay the bills in and out. With that, we are not making any profit on water. It is never our goal for Brayton or Exira to make profit on water. We have told them multiple times that their rate structure needs to change for cities to be considered a unique tier in their pricing structure that is not affected, or those rates are not imposed on us in the same way that the bulk water users are. So I will fight that argument tomorrow.
Well, it's just like with Mid-America. You don't use energy, you don't pay them anything.
So it's, at the very least,